moving into question 2. This question is, Kate, we have a funded project that we are struggling with, which looks like it will fail. What should we do?
Okay, really great question. If you could bring up the next slide, please, Julia. So a first step, I think, when a project is struggling or it looks like it's going off track, is to really understand and identify the factors that are causing or contributing to that situation. So it may be that we have internal factors at play, the people or the team that we've assembled around the project isn't coming together or doesn't have the depth of experience or skill that we need. We may have underestimated the resources that we need to apply to that project in order to make it successful. We may have our organisational capacity may be limited or may not be sufficient to deliver the project. There may also be external factors at play. So our partners, our funders, so their circumstances may have changed. They may not have the same sense of commitment to the project that they once did. And there are also potentially environmental or situational factors. The situation that we may find ourselves in now when we are about to deliver the project may have changed since we envisaged it. So it's important to identify, I think, those factors that are contributing to what the situation that you find yourself in now. So once we've established a good understanding of why things are getting off track or going wrong, we can then really ask ourselves, can we meaningfully change or address these factors? Can we turn those factors around? If the answer is yes, then we can make those necessary course corrections and we can get back on track with our project. If we can't, if the answer to that question is no, we can't change all those contributing factors or those influencing factors, then we need to ask ourselves, is there another way that we can do this? Can we reach our intended aims, our intended objectives and our intended goals by doing things another way, albeit by another route? And if the answer to that question is yes, we can change things around a bit, but we can still get where we want to go, we can still hit our destination, then we can make those changes, make those adjustments and get back on track. If the answer to that question is no, that really we can't do things another way, that we are unable, the contributing factors are beyond our control, we really can't see a way to reach our intended objectives or our intended goals with our project, we still have the opportunity to rescope or reframe the project to achieve a different but a good outcome. And it might be helpful perhaps if I share a case study or an example of this with you. So if you could bring up the next slide, please, Julia. So I was involved with a program or a project that was around building resilience in drought-affected rural communities. And essentially the aim of the program was to engage local grassroots service providers to provide resilience building programs within communities, within drought-affected communities. And when we started to work on this project, we got government funding for it. It was a significant and large project. When we started to move forward the project to try and get it off the ground, we found we were facing some real barriers. And we were really struggling to get traction to move it forward. So we asked ourselves, why? What are the reasons for this? And we really found that we had a number of reasons that were contributing to us struggling with this project. So certainly, lack of capacity played a part. So whilst the program and the project had looked great on paper and in theory, when it came to actually delivering it, we were under-resourced. We didn't have the capacity within our organisation to do it. Our partners and our collaborators in the program, the local service who would have been responsible for delivering those resilience building services, whilst originally being enthusiastic and committed to the program, when it came to start delivering, were reporting back to us and say, look, we really don't feel we can do this, we're under-resourced, we're overstretched. So they weren't able to meet the obligations or the commitments that they had made. And part of that, or a lot of that, was explained by the environmental situation and how that had changed. So the communities that that we were hoping to deliver drought resilience programs within had been, since receiving funding for the program, had actually been impacted by bushfires. So the community was stressed by bushfires. The organisations and the local services were stressed by the current situation, and it was very much our view that the project, in fact, would do harm rather than do good. So when we asked ourselves, can we change the contributing factors? Can we turn this around? The answer to that was no. Yes, we could increase our organisational capacity, but there was really nothing we could do about the environmental situation or the context that we were in. And then when we asked ourselves, is there another way that we can do this? Can we reach or hit or still meet our objectives as we've identified them in the project proposal? And the answer to that was also no. And whilst we could achieve some of those goals, there was a sense that the project really could not be delivered as we'd originally envisaged it. And so we had the choice. Do we pack up now and say, no, this is just not a good idea, let's not do this? And that would have been one option. But what we actually did is, after consultation with our partners, the funder and the community, the project was re-scoped with very different objectives and very different goals, and achieved a very different but very good outcome. So following that pathway through, we were able to navigate through those issues and those challenges and still achieve a really good outcome. You could bring up the next slide, please, Julia.
Sure thing.
And I think one of the reasons, excuse me, we were still able to achieve a good outcome with this project is because we took a really systematic approach using that framework that involved not just us as the backbone organisation, but all of our stakeholders, including the community. And we enlisted their support in resolving the situation, and began by assessing what was going on, understanding what those factors were that were causing us to go off track. And we validated our findings with our stakeholders by asking them directly, what's going on? Why do you think this isn't working? And we kept our stakeholders advised and informed and aware of what was happening throughout this whole process, rather than locking ourselves behind closed doors, furtively, working away on why things were going wrong. We involved everybody in finding a solution. And we held off taking corrective action until everybody was on board. And once those actions were in place, once we'd implemented the changes that we needed to make, we started that cycle again. We assessed whether they were working. We validated our thoughts and our findings with our stakeholders and let them know. And that was the cycle that we employed throughout the duration of that project to keep it on track. So hopefully that helps a little bit.